Okay, Bears fans, I'm going to be blunt on this one. If you've been watching this series, you know I dig into every team that I have to talk about here. There's been maybe, one or two teams I've been real positive about. I have not been very positive in this series. But you guys are not the rule. You guys are the exception, man. Chicago, well done. Yes, you may be eliminated, but man, you guys have one of the brightest futures in the NFL. I wouldn't have been saying this a month and a half ago. But the way things have changed in the last month and a half, ever since the return of Justin Fields, this team has looked amazing. I think Matt Eberflus might have done enough to save his job this season. Not sure how Bears fans would feel about that, but man, let's go ahead and take a look at this season here for the Bears. They started off pretty rough. They started out, 0-4 before finally getting a win over the Commanders. And those losses included a loss at home to the Packers, a loss on the road to the Bucs, and a loss at home to the Broncos. The Chiefs you would have expected, even though it was a 31-point blowout, you kind of would have expected that. And then still you managed to lose the next one against the Vikings. So you really had a bad start to the season. Things were going nowhere. You were fighting for the first and second overall pick in the draft with Carolina. And it just was not looking good. And then Justin Fields goes down for a couple weeks with injuries. So you have the Tyson Bagent storyline for a couple weeks, which went nowhere, including a win by 3 points over the Carolina Panthers. Not very great there. But man, I gotta say, Justin Fields, when he returned against the Lions on November 19th, man, this team has looked like a totally different team, and they have been looking amazing. They've been looking like a team. If you get Justin Fields, a top wide receiver, like you draft Marvin Harrison, number 1 overall, oh my God, this team is going to be unstoppable. This team could be very much unstoppable. I mean, they played the Lions close the first time, beat the Vikings, beat the Lions the second time, played the Browns close, whooped on the Cardinals, and beat down the Falcons. I mean, this team, since the return of Justin Fields, has lost the games. The games they've lost, they lost by 5 to the Lions. They lost by 3 to the Browns. They've lost 2 games by a combined 8 points. And their margin of victory has been absolutely massive. 15 over the Lions on the game they beat them. 2 over the Vikings. That's 17. Another 11 points over the Cardinals. That's 28. And then another 20. They've won by 48 points in 4 games. That's their margin of victory. 48 points in 4 games since Justin Fields returned. And if we go ahead and take a look here at Justin Fields' stats since he returned, let's go ahead and pull those up here. Because this man has been looking great. So since his return on the 19th, he had a 69.9 completion percentage for 169 yards, 1 touchdown, no win to the Lions, 73% for 217 against the Vikings. Second game against the Bears, lower completion percentage, but 223 yards and a touchdown. His worst game was that Browns game where he threw 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions for 166 yards and under 50%. But that's against the Browns defense, so we can kind of excuse that. Cardinals game was kind of a what are you doing? But then he dominated yesterday. 62.5% completion percentage, 268 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. His QBR has been averaging around the mid-80s to upper 80s, low 90s in that range. I mean, Justin Fields has been looking like the guy these last couple weeks. Give him some help. Give him some wide receiver. I mean, this team will be great. So, like I said, Chicago, I'm not going to rip into you guys because there is nothing to rip into you guys about. You guys have a bright future, and you guys are set up to compete for years and years to come.